Here's a free lesson on God Save the Queen. We're going to work our way through this whole tune here, and you can click on the link below if you want to access that sheet music or look at my other workshops. It's all in the link below. And just to give you a feel for how this would sound on the chanter. So it doesn't sound too bad. There is one part, maybe I messed it up, or maybe I just don't really like how this is written. I'm talking about that second last line, but anyway, we'll get there. Let's march our way through the tune here. It's not perfect on the pipes. I play the trumpet also. I actually played on the trumpet today at a ceremony so people could sing along better. But hey, if you want to learn it, you can play it on the pipes. Maybe some of the sharps and flats aren't quite right, but people can recognize it and you can have fun with it, and people might get a kick out of hearing it. So here's God Save the Queen. And we're going to start, you can start on that introductory note being the E, and then we're going to go down to the D. So, and then we end up back on that E. So we're on the E, we go down to the D, drop the ring finger of the top hand and the pinky finger of the bottom hand to get to that D. And then we need to do some sort of embellishment. Simplest, you can just do a G grace note up and down with the top finger. Or you can do a strike, striking down with all or just even the top finger of the bottom hand. Or you can combine that. You can do a G grace note and then a D strike. So those are your options, and after whatever embellishment you choose, on that D you're going to go right back up to E again, so all those fingers have to drop down of the bottom hand except the pinky finger comes up, and our ring finger comes up again on the top hand. And then from that E we drop down to C. You can get there with a G grace note if you like. If you're not doing G grace notes yet with transition movements, we're just going from E to C. So we have to drop down that ring finger, drop of the top hand, drop down the pinky finger of the bottom hand, and lift up those middle two fingers of the bottom hand. If you want to get there with that G grace note finger has to lift before you transition from E to C, and then that G grace note finger comes back down. And moving on. So after that C, we have a quick D by lifting up the top finger of the bottom hand, and then we go up to E. And we've already done that transition from D to E, so that should be a bit familiar. This time we can get there with a G grace note if you wish, so that G grace note finger has to lift. You do your transition from D to E, G grace note finger comes down. And of course, you can do this tune without those G grace notes on the transitions if you would like. And the sheet music, if you want to sign up for this workshop, it's all free. It's below, and we might get through the whole tune in this lesson, but if it's getting too long, then I'll save you the marathon session and post another video. So here's what we got so far. So after that E, we're going up to F. So we haven't done an F yet in this tune, so let's talk about that. We're raising up just that middle finger of the top hand, and that's our F note. We can get there with a G grace note. So that top finger has to lift, the second finger lifts, top finger comes down. And then the grip, so you could do a whole grip, which is going all the way down to low G, so all the fingers come down on the holes. And then we do a D grace note, and then we go right back up to that F. If grips are like, if you're just not there yet, you can just do an F strike. And that's the much easier option and still going to sound just fine. So we're F striking with that middle finger just down on the hole, up off the hole right away. So here's what we got so far. So after that F grip or strike, we're going up to high G by lifting that top finger, and then we come back down onto the F. You can get there with a F doubling or half doubling by just coming down onto the F and do an extra grace note. And that's our finishing off our line. We go back down to E and then back down to D. You've done the E to D transition, or I believe. Yes, at the very start from our introductory note. But this time we can get to that D with a D throw if you wish. If you don't want to do the D throw, it'll sound like this. Sounds just fine, right? Sounds okay. But if you want to do that D throw from the E down to low G, almost like the grip where we start out with that D grace note, but instead of popping right back up, we're going to go to C and then to D. And that's the full first line. So let me just play through that full first line nice and slow. And then, yeah, let's add that on. So this is going into bar 1 and a bit of bar 2 of the second line. And again, if you want to know where I'm at in the sheet music, click on the link below. It's all free. And so after that big D throw we talked about, or landing on that D, we go right back up to the E again. You can get there with that G grace note if you wish. So if you're not doing grace notes or D throws, they'll sound like this. So essentially from that F, we're going down to E, down to D, we're just walking down the scale. We go back up to E for a second time, back down to D, and then we continue walking down the scale to C, and then we go one note back up to the D. So let me just play through that section a little bit slower. And with embellishments. So embellishment wise, all those D's can have the D throws if you wish, and the in-between notes can have that G grace note. So G grace note up, G grace note up to the E, down to the C, and then we end off on that D. So that to me is kind of a nice stopping section before we go into the second kind of phrase or melody of this tune. So I think we'll end that lesson here. But I will just play through that once more, and then I will just to make it a little bit easier on your brain, I'll pop back in another video here for lesson 2, also free, and we'll hopefully finish off the tune in that lesson. Links below again, and here it is one more time for you to play to, listen to the first kind of phrase of this tune. See you in the next video. Until then, keep on piping on.